Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris Farah, and today we are doing a three-part combo episode where we get to talk about 3 episodes of the season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We're going to do 6, 7, and 8, meaning I have 9 and 10 left as a combo episode, and then we'll talk that reunion, and we are done with season 3. But oh my goodness, it's Friday. The tell all dumped on us yesterday, and I hope you're doing well. If you're in the Los Angeles area, then you didn't sleep because, honey, there was a thunderstorm. The thunder rolled. Let's just say you can follow me on TikTok and know that I for sure put a TikTok up where I used thunder rolls, Garth Brooks, to really describe my night. I mean, it was 3:30 in the morning, storm coming in. Uh, it was like so loud. The thunder was very, very, yeah, very loud. So much so that I was like, is it an explosion? Is it a bad thing? Is that what that is? Couldn't quite tell. But at the same time, like I said, not an earthquake. And so we win. Hi, welcome. If you haven't yet, say hi to me in the comments or just look at me. But one thing you definitely can do without having to do any interaction with me at all is just like the video, give it a little thumbs up if you haven't yet. Just like wherever you're seeing this on Facebook or YouTube, give it a thumbs up and or give a little comment to be like, thank you for, showing up, algorithm, to give me Chris Farah. Didn't know I wanted it. Don't know if I do want it, but I'm continuing on the journey. Oops. Okay, so obviously we are going to discuss Secret Lives of Mormon Wisdom, giving some space and opportunities for people to like see in the room, get in before we just dive in. So it's about 2 minutes in. Make yourself at home. If you want to go get a snack or something to drink, you're welcome to. It's Friday. Don't worry, I do have drinks. I have 2 Lakewood Littles, organic fruit punch, and organic cherry fusion box drinks. A, because sometimes kid food makes me happy. Also, B, a little shot of sugar is just sometimes nice. It's very like Steel Magnolias of me, but it's like a little bit. Is that a dark joke? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay, my loves. We're going to get in. We're going to talk about episodes 6, 7, and 8. And this really takes place back and forth between the LA for the girls as they enjoy all their brand deals and their stagecoach and their Hulu parties. And I mean, it's a celebrity filled 3 episodes. It's what my life is normally like in Los Angeles when it's not raining, when it's not thunderstorming. My goodness gracious. However, I'm excited to get into the nitty gritty of the shitty situations these girls find themselves in. And on top of that, it's funny how quickly the drama moves. And it's because it's so minuscule and everything is made to be such a big deal, more so than they have to be, and that's the name of the game. So they know what they're doing. Okay, I'll start in 4 minutes, at 4 minutes, which is basically 20 seconds from now. So thank you guys so much for spending Friday night with me. I hope you're having a really great night. I hope you're having some amount of fun. I hope maybe you're cooking for yourself or someone's cooking for you, or you've already eaten something yummy. I've made myself cast iron chicken. I've been trying to do that, where you like make it crispy and then you like bake it. And then I'm going to make purple mashed potatoes. Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome. If you just joined the room, we'll be talking about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. This is season 3, episodes 6 through 8. I have the names for you. Episode 6 was the Book of Confrontation. Episode 7, the Book of Broken Hearts, and episode 8, the Book of Awakening. Oh, all right, babes. Let's talk about it. The mom talk babes are now on the height of feeling themselves. Episode 6 starts with them coming to Los Angeles, where they are living like queens, having a huge brand deal in the Palm Desert area to go to Stagecoach, which is on the exact same field that Coachella happens. So that's why It looks the same. You'll never have it on the same weekend. And the Ferris wheel is going to be there. And you basically kind of wear a version of, okay, festival wear is in itself, let's talk about it. The aesthetic of festival wear is party. You have to be able to dance, you have to be comfortable, and you have to look like you somehow tried and didn't try at the exact same time to be like as sexy and as youthful and like fuck it youthful kind as you can be. So and Coachella though, it started off being where you also were like doing some sort of bohemian Native American thing, which we quickly said no to. But like anyone who has been around for a hot ass minute knew that like Coachella started with girls like putting feathers in their goddamn hair and like full Coachella like chief outfits. It was wild. I Now the Coachella Valley, like Palm Desert, like there's definitely Native American reservations around that general area, and so perhaps that's what inspired that. But obviously, we knew that it was a bunch of like white girls doing that and not like actual Native Americans. So, at least, Stagecoach doesn't have to be Native American because they're more the cowboys, which is LOL. Like cowboys and Indians, if you're going to use that word, like the Indians are the people that come at Coachella and then the cowboys come like 2 weeks after for Stagecoach. I've only been at Coachella. um, I would go to Stagecoach if I was just given everything. But at this point, I wouldn't even go to Coachella unless I was given like upper echelon passes. When I went to Coachella, it was the first time Beyonce was supposed to do it. But then she got pregnant. So they had Lady Gaga do it, and which is still great. And I had gotten like VIP passes, and I'm really glad I went because I don't think I would have gone. I really would have loved to have seen Beyonce, and obviously I tried. That's the moral of the story. And she did come back and kill it for Homecoming, and wouldn't I have loved to see that? And I didn't. But I'm not an influencer, so I can't just go every year. But if this show teaches you anything, it really is like, oh, okay, listen, they do sell their souls because there's this knowledge that in order to be an influencer, in order to gain people's trusts, you have to bleed on camera and show them parts of yourselves. Like you can somewhat be calculated in one parts, but there is this like part of the show that's kind of like everyone has their turn to be a villain and everyone has their turn to like showcase something deeply horrible, personal, vulnerable that like would, that no one would technically want America to know about, but in it being so story driven, it's how people relate and have empathy for you and stuff like that. So it is, what the Kardashians really did and what these Hulu girls are doing to a different degree. So, but then on the same degree because both Hulu. So basically, the house that the girls get put up is like a crazy ass mansion. Okay, let's just be honest. Like this is bananas. They just get this huge ass, big ass house with like a separate pool entrance, and Taylor's just queen of it all. I mean, could you imagine? They're like, yeah, they just get to go party in this house with their friends. It does sound great. Like, especially if you had great friends. Taylor decides to invite Dakota, which is confusing because it's not a good look. Just like how Jesse didn't have a good look at having Marciano come because we were like, Marciano, that's a weird choice for you to want to like hang out with him. Tell us more or whatever. And then Taylor invites Dakota because she's clean, she can do whatever. And it's a weird choice for someone who is trying to get over that person because then you get to see that person um around a bunch of women and you are stopping yourself from being around like a bunch of eligible men. Like Taylor is, for all intents and purposes, before even being labeled the bachelorette, the greatest bachelorette in the sense of she's rich, she's young, she's famous, she's accessible, she's not super threatening and like being, overly powerful, overly, reliant on her looks. She just is. She gets to kind of monopolize doing whatever she wants. So she could have like definitely her pick of men, but she won't. She invites Dakota to come. It's a bad choice, and no one hates it more than Macy. Um, but basically, they are before they go to Stagecoach, they are at a Hulu event. I know I should do the house, but we're just gonna get through it. Whitney and Demi are in the same hotel, which is the Hotel Sofitel, which is an okay hotel, which is kind of like adjacent to Beverly Hills in West Hollywood, and it's like off Beverly Boulevard. It's not a chic hotel in the sense of like it's not the Sunset Tower or like the Beverly Wilshire or like Beverly Hills Hotel or the Hotel Bel Air or like I like the Petite Hermitage, like it's not any of those. It's not the Lowe's. It's not the Universal like Marriott or Radisson, whatever. But anyway, Sofitel. So I just think here's my other thing. If your whole job is to be able to connect with different brands and then promote them using your own social media platform, then it's like everyone's goal to be able to pick and choose like who they get to use for free, like, yeah, if you're just starting off and you're like, I need a free room, like, yeah, probably the Wind's not going to be like, yeah, girl, but I'm sure like, Binions will be like, okay. So you have to, and then at some point you can say no to Binions and maybe you don't. This is like deep Las Vegas humor. Binions. Binions is like old school, you know, Vegas, Fremont Street, Vegas. Okay. I didn't say bunions, but I could have. Okay, so basically, this is what's getting annoying. So obviously, these girls are not big fans of Demi, and it's because of her situation with Jesse and Marciano, where Jesse had kissed Marciano and had an emotional affair, blah 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 blah, because it's her time to like bleed on stage and have us like care about her. And then it was discovered that Demi was like instigating Marciano to say such things, and obviously she hates Jesse. So both women are not only staying at the same hotel and could be, next door, and the girls are like, no, no, just like hearing each other, just like smack through the overnight oats they're eating. I can't. So, but they also to be in the same like glam rooms. Okay, Jesse went to Disney with Jordan because we're now like, oh, they're on their 90-day, fiance visa. Just kidding. Their 90-day separation, and they're still trying. So here's the thing. Demi is now saying that she was sexually assaulted by Marciano and that he's a sexual predator and, he tried to bag a married woman. And when she is confronted by the girls about like what's happening, she she very much cries and plays victim. And so this becomes this thing where she's like, I was a victim of him, and if you don't believe me, if you don't support me, if you don't like openly support me, then you are, victim blaming, and not every victim does everything right. Okay. And the girls are like, yeah, but you told us to our face that, that you flirted with him or you egged him on, and that you are not, a victim. You said those words, you're not a victim to us. And also, we don't like you. And she so badly is so happy to have a leg to stand on because she's like, you can't get past me saying this. Like, there's no way out for you. If I say that I'm like a sexual assault victim and you deny me that's means you're a horrible person. And the truth of the matter is there are sexual abuse victims, obviously, amongst this cast. Connor, who's Whitney's husband, also, Michaela's entire storyline this entire season is about her like sexual trauma. And unfortunately, Macy had like some assault as well. So everyone feels a certain type of way about seeing Demi's post about this and how she has like taken this POV, as well as it seems because of like the land they're in, that saying that there were people that didn't believe her fully points multiple fingers with like long acrylic nails at them because of mom talk notoriety. Like, who would Demi be talking about if not them? So they take it as like an affront and that she lumps them all together. So producers ask why Demi left mom talk, and she basically like just is like, well, I wasn't a good place for me when no one had my back, and was really, hard for me to understand, like, why the girls pretty much didn't decide to follow her and make her queen of mom talk when Taylor is that, and the girls don't like Demi, so they're not going to. And Demi feels like she almost has the balls of like a coked out, roided out male. Like she has a lot of audacity, and I don't understand exactly why, unless she is being talked into doing this by a coked up, roided up white man, like her husband. I don't know, but something about it is so interesting. So she's obviously officially back filming, so all those things about her contracts or whatnot, obviously they iron that out. And Hulu is having a Get Real event, and this is, of course, when Whitney comes in. Um, it's interesting. It's like Demi says that she wants to stop engaging in things that aren't her business, and I was like, then you're not going to be able to have a storyline on this show because you either can be a villain or you can be a victim. And if you are a victim on the show, I mean, I hate to say this, it's like you have to kind of like go in between doing both and never doing it too much that you ruin your life. But let me have it. This is what it is. You either have to showcase bad decisions or vulnerable spots of your life or things you probably wouldn't want to show, or you have to make things happen and be a little egomaniacal and like narcissistic and like put your views on people and make people do things. And Demi would have to like tell us what the fuck's happening in her marriage because she's married to an old ass man, and like who cheated and who cheats and who swings and who does drugs, like all of that, who has like lawsuits against people, who's like ex-wives hate them. Like, you would have to give us more of that and you working through that so you could be less of a villain. Now, could she? Would she? You tell me. Um so 1:30 um I see. Okay. So obviously the other thing about everyone being in Los Angeles is that they get to be interviewed by Dina Katz for Dancing with the Stars. Now, Dina Katz, I guess, a big executive producer on Dancing with the Stars, is going to interview and then have them be on the show, which is exciting. Now, Dina Katz sits down with all of them, but the really contenders that we've been knowing about, and not just because they're on the show, but even when they edited and they knew that we had already known, is Jen and Whitney. Now, Jen kind of is just like, well, I'm Latin, I know how to dance, and I'm like, I believe that, but I also wish that she had said like a couple of other things. Layla said that she was a full dancer like for many years in all of the realms, but like, yeah, I really would have loved to see Layla on the show. If Layla was on Dancing with the Stars, I think it would have been a way better choice than Jen. I never understood I still don't know Jen's appeal. And I'm not saying Jen's a bad person. I just don't know her appeal. Why? Okay, I'll tell you why. Okay. Jen is nice. She doesn't know or does know if she's related to Ben Affleck. Those, okay. Jen has a controlling husband, or he is aligned with their faith. It goes back and forth. Jen's mom works in the hospital that Zach's dad runs shit at. Those are the things I know about Jen. And this season, they're also like, oh, don't forget, like she plays piano. And I'm like, okay. I guess Jen hasn't come with enough personality by herself to make me feel like I understand who she is. She's just kind of like a little weak And I feel bad saying that. I'm not saying that she's weak because of the mental stuff that she went through. That's actually probably the strongest part that I've seen of her is when she made a definitive choice to leave the show. But I don't understand her point of view or mind. She just seems to be a little like go with the flow, and kind of everyone picked on her. So Layla though, like, comes with such attitude because she's just like been single for so long, and obviously like she has like a backstory and was married, and we don't see her kids that much or ever. She looks like a model. She did a really good job of giving us great faces the entire first two seasons, and then this season she is like like stepped up in such a way that like she's. I think that if there was no Taylor and there had to be like a vice president of Mom Talk, I think it should be Layla. Now it's interesting because obviously Michaela and Macy be like me. I mean but like, and there is a little bit of, have you noticed it? Tension between Michaela, Macy, and Layla. A, because of what happened on their birthday, but also B, what's going to happen when they all get to the mansion for Stagecoach, which is basically Layla being like, I want fun people. Just, is there fun people ever around? Can we just like, not ones that are just always like negative or shit's going bad, but just like someone who's just like okay with things, just like a little youthful, a little fun, a little less stringent. Because Macy and Michaela and Jen are, remember, like the most uh saints. They're like the saints and the versus the devils, or they talk a lot about that first season. We don't talk about that anymore. Like, who are the good girls, who are the bad girls? It's less clicky that way, I guess. Um, but anyway, yeah. So Whitney obviously kills her interview because she should get on the show, and she does. And then they meet and talk up with other cast members from the Vanderpump Villa, including Marciano's like ex-girlfriend. Jen and Jesse obviously feel like Demi is playing victim, and Marciano would never be a sexual predator. And they all talk about how they witnessed Demi like flirting with him, which is messy. So then they all take buses to the main event, which is like in some crazy big ass hill. There's like two crazy mansions they show. One in the valley for Coachella Valley for Stagecoach, and one for this Hulu, event where it's funny because they have such a great opportunity to have like crossover on the show, right? Because of the influencers are always like having different products, and we certainly know how many times they've said certain words like Taco Bell. They've shown Taco Bell at one point. Dakota's going to be like, "Have you eaten today?" to Taylor, and she's like, "No." "Oh yes, Taco Bell." I'm like, "Oh God bless you." I love Taco Bell too. I've already said this, but on Hulu itself, like, Hulu is a brand, obviously, and Hulu has other reality shows. And so Hulu's like, hey, me too. Why don't we throw a party for all of our reality show stars to come, where all of our reality show stars can like film the party and film them going to the party and their interactions with our other reality show stars and create a bunch of content. We're Hulu. It's not dumb. It's not dumb. You know what I'm saying? So um they so basically when they take all the buses there, all the girls in one, and then Demi and Whitney and the other. Whitney looks like she's wearing like a Chanel tweed two-piece, which I really like, with like her hair slicked back. And in the other call with all the mom talk, Taylor is just putting on her own makeup. And then I really realize she puts on her own makeup. The other girls have glam or something, and she always is doing her own. Now, I don't know why, because I'm not saying she's bad, but it's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not good enough event makeup. And first of all, it's a Makeup by Mario palette. I wonder if it's the matte one. Taylor doesn't ever have a lot of like color on her face. She kind of just does this like always brown toned kind of look. And because she is so, she has such a thin face and stuff, it feels like she can look a little hollow sometimes. So sometimes I wish that she would allow like a professional makeup artist to kind of like get in there, because I love makeup, like I really do. You can tell. And I'm not good enough to do my own makeup for like a Hulu event where it's my top of my line business event where other people are there and networking, and the entire industry that I'm in is taking visuals of myself, and this specific event will be other people taking pictures of me. Like, I just need her to get with a little bit of the program. So, or if she doesn't have like a good makeup artist, like this is what I need her to do and focus on besides Dakota. Like Dakota doesn't need to be a part of this until she has like her whole fucking glam team together. And I'm not saying every woman, but I'm saying Taylor. And I do feel like every woman though should have their look and aesthetic together in a way. And I'm not saying Taylor doesn't, but Taylor is basically a celebrity model type. Instead of brands like Chanel that she's shilling. I mean, listen, she's shilling to the top of my ability, Louis Vuitton. She had a Goyard bag last year, and she did show her Goyard bag this year. But there are so many Louis Vuitton bags that I was like, did they pay for them? Also coming up, a lot of Prada sunglasses. I mean, and I think, yeah, I think maybe Prada just had a moment where all the girls just like were like, I'm gonna buy one thing and I'll tell my friends, and then they all bought the one thing for like 3 months. And sometimes I feel like these shows are snapshots of the 3 month trends that we are in. Like right now, to me, we are in aviator sunglass trend, and none of these girls are having the aviators. I mean, listen, we were still in and are in those like tiny kind of like 90s sunglasses, like the geometric shaped square ones or whatnot. And I don't mind those either, but I feel like if you were to film Mom Talk right now, they would all have big aviators. Okay, so Macy says that in the glam room she was with Demi, and Demi equated her situation with Marciana with other sexual abuse victims, and that Macy just had to sit there and bite her tongue because she was like, "What the fuck?" And then she had to like secretly text Michaela, being like, "You won't even believe what this bitch is saying. She's fucking full of it," and she just like hates her now, and I totally get it. At the event, people are losing their shit over like Khloe Kardashian. Now, I wish that didn't happen, but it certainly did. Khloe didn't really talk to them that much. Like, it's funny for this. They're at an event. It's interesting that it wasn't easily shot. Like, they get a little bit of Scott Disick, but it's seemingly that they cannot get a normal shot of Chloe. She's like a mirage, you know? She's like, "Yeah, I watch your show." They're like, "Great." Now, later on, we're gonna find out that Lana Del Rey watches their show, which is like so sad for me. Come on. I like Lana Del Rey and I'm sorry. I like Lana Del Rey and I like the show. So you'd be like, why is that annoying to you? I need to talk to Lana about this show before I say it annoys me. Because if she watches it like for anthropological reasons, because it's hard to see real-time girl politics and infrastructures that feels familiar to you, but also feels so foreign because of the like unique culture of Utah and Mormonism. Like that is it. So yeah, I guess I have to find that out. Okay. Also, could you imagine like if I could like interview Lana about this show? I would die. Um, so basically when they meet Chloe, Jen bows down to Chloe Kardashian, and that's another reason why I'm like, I don't need to see you on Dancing with the Stars, Jen. I don't want to see you bow down to a Kardashian. Absolutely not. No, it's embarrassing. Um, Demi talks to Marciano's girlfriend and some other people that were at the villa, and she tells him that, like, yeah, Marciano told, me when he saw me, it was love at first sight and all this stuff. And there's so many times in which I love knowing how much either a bitch doesn't care if she sounds vapid. Also, B, I wish that I could talk to Marciano's ex after. Because could you imagine being Marciano's ex and then having that dumb bitch look at you in the face and be like, yeah, when he saw me, he said it was love at first sight. And like, who knows how long she's been with Marciano? I'm assuming since X, I mean, like longer than any of these bitches have been, which seems like a contractual week on Vanderpump Villa. So, anyways, there's this thing though where some girls love to comment about how a man is in the situation, or someone that they are sexually into wants them beyond anyone else and way more than they want them, when it's so obvious that, like, that's your fantasy. This is like your inside fantasy coming out loud of your mouth. And even if he did say that, like, people lie, you know? Hi. Oh, new username, Hawaiian dude. Okay, so basically after that, there's a, I don't know if you can hear that there's a fire engine happening. Demi won't back down in this conversation where she is like telling Marciano's friends that she had been assaulted. And I keep looking at her as she's doing it. It's so interesting. And one thing I find very interesting is literally her like hairs are standing on end of her shoulder, which I think it's a very small thing to pick. And I was like, but is this indicative of someone who's just like on hyper alert, hyper aware? Also, is that seem like a lot of hair? Is that how much hair I have on my shoulder at all times? I just don't see it because I'm not being illuminated from behind. It seems like it just seemed like, yeah, so much hair. Um Blonde hair for sure. Yeah. Is that a winter coat? What is happening? Okay. Taylor talks to Whitney about coming to Stagecoach, and Demi and Jesse have a little moment where they're like, we need to talk, and they're going to talk tomorrow. So after Taylor talks to Whitney about coming to Stagecoach, Demi and Jesse meet while the girls go to Yamashiro. Demi and Jesse, by the way, Yamashiro, I love so much, which is at that beautiful restaurant that like Macy and Michaela and I think Jesse go to. Oh no, not Jesse. Macy and Michaela, maybe Layla. At the uh, top of Franklin on Hollywood, where the Magic Castle is on the side, and it's like this beautiful Japanese restaurant. There's like all these gorgeous pockets of tables that overlook LA, and then sometimes they have a night market, and it's just so aesthetically lovely. I mean, beautifully decorated, incredibly elegant, also just so romantic. I forget about it sometimes, but I really love Yamashiro. I want to go back. Okay, you know what? I am going to go back. You can't keep a good Chris down. Um, okay, so basically, Demi and Jesse talk, but it goes nowhere. And Demi says that she's a victim and that Marciano lied and grabbed her ass twice. And this she was upset because she said, like, Jesse, I fucking told you all about this and you're my friend. And then what do you do next? You go and try and jump on that dick? You weirdo. Which is also like kind of what Taylor said, which is what which is a normal thing. But anyway, that she was upset Jesse went for him. And Jesse was just like, well, I didn't believe you. I wish Jesse would kind of be like, I'm in a loveless marriage where I don't have any sex and I feel numb, and one dumb person made me feel good for a second. Or I wish he'd be like, listen, I had to have some drama because I'm on the show. And so I was like, he's easy. So you don't even like him. You're married. There's also this back and forth that, like, and this part is a little annoying, but I guess this is what makes it real sounding, is that Demi supposedly sent him a picture of her praying, and he like FaceTimed her daughter. And the way that she tries to explain how that happened and why is like so no. Just like, like, oh, no. The way that my daughter FaceTimed him is that one time we were just talking and my daughter was like, who's that? Marcy Mariano? And then my daughter pushed the FaceTime and then he looked at my daughter and then they had a conversation. I was like, no. And then I hung up. That's what happened. They're like, uh-huh. Meanwhile, also Demi's like, Brett knows. You know who knows? Brett. Brett knows. Brett knows all. So don't even fucking worry about it. I don't know why these bitches care, because Brett knows. And I also want to be like, does Brett know because he's a swinger? And was he like, yeah, get it, girl. This young chubby whatever man wants to hit you, not hit you. Get up in there. Yeah, like I'll watch. I don't know. Like that would be more interesting, please. So then they all go to stagecoach in a car, stage car in a car, stagecoach in a coach. But Jen is feeling sick and she has to go to Instacare. And then when they said that, I was like, well, did Instacare pay for that? Do people just do things and then call them afterward, be like, hey, our person Jen went to an Instacare while filming Hulu. Do you want to kick us $500,000 and we'll talk about it on the show? So then episode 7 starts, honey, and they then pull into that Palm Springs Mansion, which I showed you, with overnight Amazon boxes. And so when that happened, I was like, oh, Amazon. My God, fucking, they are just getting money from every fucking person. Oh my God. Just like, oh, Jeff Bezos money. How great Amazon is. We can get overnight and get all of our dumb cowboy accoutrements. I also thought it was interesting just because, like, these girls are from Utah. Like, these girls aren't from New York. Like, I have to assume that some of these girls have the cowboy gear, just because that's what happens. Just like there's cowboy shit happening, like it's kind of Western over there a little bit, right? I mean, not all the times, but definitely like some of it is. And so why don't they have that? Why do they have to Amazon it? And also, what do they do with the boxes? Can they recycle? So that's when we find out that Taylor invited Dakota, and we're like, no, girl, no. And she's like, oh yeah, the house is so big. And I was like, for people that work, you have to tell us that Dakota gets paid to be part of Dad Talk for us to understand this. And you could have, but you didn't. That's also when Layla's like, yeah, I also invited some friends because I don't want to fucking be around these two boring, basic white pregnant bitches that don't do shit except complain. It's like, again, the two curmudgeon, grumpy men puppets from Muppets that just like sit in balconies and just like to people. Like Layla's like, I don't want that life. I want fun people. Miranda invites a friend, and that friend, honey, is a whole ass whore. Anyway, God bless. So there's some sex role play between Mac and her husband, and we're supposed to believe that like this also is going to present a situation where they can really like have a romantic rendezvous because they're in this gorgeous room with like a jacuzzi and all that. Yeah, but then we see like a plethora of Prada glasses. You're welcome. So a doctor sent so then they go to the first day of Stagecoach. But before then, while they're getting ready, Lana Del Rey sent Michaela a DM and was like, are you guys going to be there? Please come to the side of the stage. What? Yeah. And they do. Anyway, so Dakota also, let me go back here. So this is so exciting when that happens. To me, it's like, yeah, she looked great. She like watches the show. She wants to know about Whitney, which is like, we all want to know about Whitney. I wonder if they're like mad every time someone's like, oh my God, hi. What's happening with Whitney? It's like, why don't you DM Whitney? Anyway. But if Lana wants to talk about the show, honey, I will. So Dakota then triggers Taylor by just basically talking to someone. And Taylor's like, well, who are you talking to? And what were you saying? And he's like, I don't even remember. And she's like, you don't even remember what you were saying 2 seconds ago? And it's like, oh, fuck, you're the one that's crazy, girl. Go away. This is what, if you didn't have this energy, you could be talking to someone great. Maybe, I don't know, someone rich. I mean, I'm just saying, or anyone. Taylor is better than Dakota. Like, she has more money than him. She has more prospects than him. Like he has nothing going for him. So it's like, use your platform to like look around and just like, see if there's a hot country artist, that's like doing something with his life that would love your platform to help him with his music. Like Lauren Lane and whatever hurt Chris Lane. She could be one of those people. I'm just saying. So back, Dakota really wants to be with her, period. And Jen gets there in a broken Tesla because it ran out. And plus she also, was sick, and I feel so bad for her. Michaela gets to have her moment with Jace, who she's going to be like, let's have some romantic time. But the jacuzzi, for some reason, the jets are fucked up. I couldn't tell if it was the jets felt like they were aimed too high because they were splatting water, outside of the water level as opposed to being in the water level, and so it was splashing them everywhere. Or I was like, is it because of lime scale? Now, someone told me this, which is absolutely something I wish I could just not have in my mind. But they basically, you should never trust jacuzzis, especially like at Airbnbs. You don't know when they've been like cleaned. And so when those jets weren't working, I was like, what's in those jets? And I hate saying that because I love jacuzzis. Like I love spas. Like I love hot water being immersed. It feels so good. Sorry, I'm making mashed potatoes, purple mashed potatoes, and I forgot it's been like I've been there for so long, just like slowly steaming them. So basically when the jacuzzi doesn't work, they're like, okay, well, let's go outside. Let's go to the hot tub outside. And they go to the hot tub outside, and it's more like a very kind of like like not or like not even room temp, more like frigid tub. And Michaela, who's always tired anyway, who's literally exhausted, is pregnant, and on top of that, doesn't want to have sex ever. After all of this, is like, can we give up? And he doesn't want to, you know? And we get more into like how devastatingly hard I think some of the intimate moments have been in their lives, but also they're pregnant. So God bless. I'm also some like, well, that there were times in which this has worked, right? Um, it's just sometimes hard for me to be like, Jace, are you gonna really leave Michaela when he complains about this stuff? I'm like, she's literally pregnant. You have like 3 kids with her. But you know what? That Jace, honey, he plays piano like nobody's business. And again, Jen, like these 3 episodes ago, tried to get us to believe that she plays piano, and then Jace, like, without even trying, is fucking Mozarting it up. You know. I mean, like, God bless. I don't even know what would happen if I could hear that music all the time. I don't know what would happen if I could play music like that all the time. If I could just sit down and then just like make shit happen through the vehicle that is my body. I can only act. I can only like create characters and comedy. I can only sort of use the gifts I have. That is my voice and my body. I don't know how to read music. Whitney shows up after posting the story of Demi against Mom Talk. And people are pissed, people are pissed. And so when she shows up, she is like, I'm not staying here, but I'm obviously contractually obligated to be here to create some content. And Taylor's like, okay, well, no girls want to create contact with you because you reposted that story against them. And like Michaela and Macy never said shit about her. And also she's not a victim. And Whitney like kind of is like 6 toes down on that, being like, oh, well, I just wanted to support a friend, and not saying something is also saying something and stuff. And so she just pretty much sticks her phone, because all the girls I don't have anymore has that sticker suction cup thing, to the wall, and is like, Connor, get behind me. A 5, 6, 7, 8. Whatever thing, just to get it done, honey. She's like, we have to get out. I just thought that was funny. Later on, we get a Michaela and Jace fight. He had drank, and he had a lot of fun, and that had made Michaela like not as excited. She's prone to complain and prone to whine anyway. She's prone to like be a pouty kind of person. So if she senses anything and if she's annoyed by anything, like, she's going to do that. So they fight, and then weirdly enough, Macy and Taylor feels like, no, they're fighting, and then they try and like see what's happening, and they just find Michaela out of the shower. Jace is nowhere to be found, and they go outside and they talk. And they talk about sexual therapy and going and getting it done, and she has to. Jesse and Jordan are reconnecting, and he says to quote, and as they reconnect, he lets it be known that Dakota flirted with someone. This story is that like they were talking and thinking about meeting up, and they exchanged pictures, and then like when the meetup came to shove, he didn't meet up. So the next episode, Jordan and Taylor look at pics, and Jesse questions why Jordan didn't say, okay, yeah. So Taylor talks to Jordan about, oh, wait, Jordan and Taylor look at pics. Jesse questions why Jordan didn't say 2 years. Oh, I see. I'm so sorry. Let me go back and forth. Jesse and Jordan are talking, and Taylor and Dakota are talking. So Jesse and Jordan are talking, and like Jesse's like, I cannot believe that he didn't say anything. Like, why hasn't he told her? It's been like 2 years. It's gonna be like devastating. And Jordan's like, yep. And then then Dakota and Taylor are looking at the pics they took from Coachella and like laughing over that. And he's like, yeah. And then so many crazy things happen. Like when you said you love me, she's like, what? I didn't say that. He's like, yeah. Like last night you were like, I love you. She's like, no, I was like, I will always love the father of my child. Probably. That's what I said. He's like, nope. And then we get a quick shot of her being like really into how this could be what she's always wanted, which is so sad, you know? And he keeps being like, I really want to be with her. And Dakota, it's like Dakota just doesn't get to be with her. And he just feels like at some point it's never going to work. And he just gets horny. And so he like flirts with someone else. I can't tell if it's, or if Dakota is just like, I will be able to, I'm a sexual fiend. I will just fuck whoever. And there's just never going to be a time in which I'll be able to control myself. If you throw hot pee at me, I will wink at it, you know? Um, Whitney and her husband Connor go to a park and she has no makeup on. She looks great. She has a pimple patch on. I'm not mad about it. Um, and they're just like giving that child back and forth and they're talking about Demi or whatever and how to deal with that because Whitney is still friends with Demi and obviously all the girls hate Demi and all the girls are now hating Whitney because of this situation and Connor is an abuse victim. So what had also happened was after they came back, they had filmed the tell-all from season 2. Now, when we watched that, that was really annoying, and Nick Vale is like not a great host. We also found out that Demi wasn't there for it, and Whitney just had to like be kind of the only one in the hot chair. And she also found out in real time things, receipts from people, and then was questioned about it right away as if she knew about it. And she's like, oh, let me have to process it first. But the look was not good, especially about Demi, about how she had talked about which we had seen these texts earlier in the season to Marciano and stuff like that. So Connor doesn't believe her, and you know, she's starting to also not believe her. Then Michaela goes to the same therapist Joy, who had done her EMDR, for sex therapy. And of course, Jace is with her. And she says that she has a hard time expressing emotions, also being present in her body and vulnerable. Now, that part I totally understand. I wonder how many people truly feel that. It is hard for me to be present in my body and vulnerable. It is. I think that we operate in so many different ways to get through this world. And one way is to like be thinking ahead, you know, like planning, doing things right, you know, being on top of things, making sure that you have, you know, all your ducks in the row and have you remembered all to do all your things. And all of those things live up here and you're not present in your body as you do all those, like as your mind races. And certainly mine does all the time. Hi. So to truly be present, aware of where every part of your body is in space and time, like feeling you know, your feet on the ground, which is obviously the opposite of thinking like up here, just like really listening to maybe the sounds that will bring you into the present moment, which is one great way, or breathing, following your own breath. That shit's very difficult. And it shouldn't be, but it's just because we don't do it. And everything that we're doing is counteracting it. So, and vulnerable, I mean, believe me, difficult. It's difficult to show people that you care, like if that you could be dumb, you know, that that your actions are dumb, or that you know that you you can make a choice that you don't want to look cringy or creepy or daft or stupid or not aware, not in reality. Like, yeah, I think I have micro fears that, people will think I'm delusional if I do certain things or weird, in some way. So, and that is just like even like in conversations with people I might like hold back or something. And or to escape the discomfort of having to be vulnerable, you might layer extra things on top that sort of take away the beauty that like is your own spirit when it's being shared. So like anxious behaviors or defense mechanisms, stuff like that. So it's very difficult to unpack all of that and sit with it so that you can like dismantle it with like a very clear, wise mind. I mean, this shit's hard. So she says on the sex scale, she's a 1, he's a 10. That sucks. It's like I need to ask Michaela other things. Like, would you say that you would always have been a 1? Like, how attracted are you to Jace? And like, who's your type of person? Like, is it that are you super attracted to him? Because I don't think they've asked her that, and I understand why. And I wonder, a 1 on a sexual scale all the time can be, is indicative of things that need to be like adjusted for that person's like sexual sake. You know, it's so funny because I've always feel like I'm horny all the time. Like I feel like I am just like unfortunately more of like a 7.5 or 8, cuz I mean 10's a lot. And Jace like a 10 because it's like I think dudes also feel like they have to be like, yeah, I'm a fucking 12, whatever, God bless. But I don't know. We have to get him to come down to reality. We have to get her a couple of notches up. They talk about role play. I'm like, well, what is your role playing things? She might have like, yeah, she might. I wonder how much she's been able to really explore her like sexuality and like what toys they've used and stuff like that. Because I mean, obviously Jen Affleck talks about anal sex with Zach. So like at one point, we have to understand that Zach's whole family now knows that he puts it in his wife's butt all the time. Which is only great if you think about that they're on the show and they're supposed to be like conservative. To me, that's great. And that I know that. Um, Speak of the devil, we find out that Whitney and Jen get Dancing with the Stars, and we also find out that Macy and the rest of Mom Talk are throwing a pride parade, honey. And Macy is at this moment shopping for what looks like apples at a Ralph's. The best apples to get to me are Fiji and Envy apples. So if you need recommendations for apples, Fiji or Envy, I think I have a Fiji apple over here. I'm going to cut up later with like some radishes and some cucumbers, and I'm going to live my goddamn life. I'm making dinner for myself. I'll put it all on like my Instagram. My cast iron chicken, my purple mashed potatoes, and a cold cucumber radish salad of some kind, maybe like a Dijon vinaigrette. Okay. So Jen meets up with Ezra, who is a dancer that she met through Dancing with the Stars, and he's also an ex-Mormon. And then also he's like, yeah, there's still like a lot of Mormons that I work with, and yeah, there's a lot of Mormon dancers. Remember Benji from So You Think You Can Dance? Of course you do. He won the first season of So You Think You Can Dance, and So You Think You Can Dance, one of the most important shows of all time. Anyway, so then we get a little ever photo shoot with Dakota and Taylor, who are really like now full mommy and dadding it up for his first year birthday with the photo shoot and doing it all together. And these, looks like they're trying to get back. So in LA, Whitney and Demi meet up, and I loved what Whitney wore. It was like this pink and red color block silk dress. At one point, as she sat down, it did show that she's wearing like little modest titty coverings. And I wondered, like, is it just the way that it's cut? How did that happen? But I would love pink and red together. Like, I think it's so pretty. Like, it's just, it's It's just good colors together. It's fun. I think I don't know. I should get more pink and red together. And then Jesse, that's okay. Sorry, that's what Whitney's wearing. And then Demi comes wearing like an off the shoulder number. Hi. So at this point, Whitney puts Demi on the docket, and she's like on the hot seat, and she's like, what's up with the DMs, and why did you say those things about the cum and everything? I would never have said that. I could have never done that. And then Demi was like, I talk to all my friends vulgarly about cum and oysters all the time. They're like, do you though? And I do think that like you might talk to your like girlfriends, but at the same time, there's not a place on God's green earth that like you bitches that were born up living up Mormon and conservative and stuff don't know you can't talk to men that you aren't married to that vulgarly. Like that just seems like basic fucking knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And she just is like, Brett knows, Brett knows, Brett knows, Brett knows. She knows his name is Brett, God bless. Um, so that's when we get in through how she explains that her daughter picked up the phone and how Martino baby became like a name and like that it's totally simple, totally just like super innocent, like not a big deal. Don't even think about it like that way. It was just like whatever. And Whitney's like, no, bitch. No. She I think sees through well, how defensive and how weird and how circle talky Demi is. Like they all say that like she is so self-assured and she like when she talks, she like can really influence you. But when she's talking to me, it just very much seems like someone lying out of their asshole that is used to getting her way. Like Demi is someone who, if you're in a friend group and you need to get into the club and there's like a bouncer, like you send that bitch up to talk to them. And then she'll get you in and she'll be so proud of it. But like secretly, you're just happy that like she didn't have to be you. It's annoying. So at the Mom Talk Pride event, Chase is invited. So now we're like, okay, so Chase is okay. So that was all what fake for just drama because he was somehow part of the season the whole time. I mean, come on. We also have to like have this thing where like Macy's husband has a gay cousin, and so that happened. And we get this information about BYU, but BYU will just kick you out if you're gay, which Macy's like, well, you know what? Here's the other thing. They kicked me out. I had a whole baby out of wedlock. Um, yeah, it's interesting because maybe because it's like a West Coast thing. I never went to schools that had like boarding school things like that had codes of conduct. Okay, when I went to Loyola Marymount University, I lived on campus, and we had a code of conduct for the dorms, which is like you couldn't do drugs in there or like whatever. I didn't do drugs in my apartment or whatever dorm room, and I had friends that like smoked weed and got kicked out for sure. But I did. I mean, we had a whole stripper come to our dorm room. We had our RA say yes first, which was nice, and he showed up as a pizza delivery man and then just like got into like, a cell block with 2 Captain Heights bag honey, and then he just let us well, whatever we did. And I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was just like I think it was like yeah, I think the thing I did in that one was like I drank tequila from his belly button and then like licked a gummy lifesaver off his thigh. Who knows what that man is now, honey? God bless him. BYU though, LMU. So Winnie tells Connor all about everything that Demi said, and Connor's like, that bitch is crazy, and nope, that's wild and shitty of her. And so she is like, he's crying, and she's a shitty person, and so Whitney has to understand that like she's not going to go against her husband, which is great. So then Michaela talks about her birth plan. God bless, she's tired again. And she also wants to open up to Jace about who abused her. And I guess it was seemingly a family member. And she had never told him. And so it was very hard. And she also was like, you knew about the abuse that happened when I was like 15. There was also abuse that happened when I was, she says 6, which is devastating. And so she tells him, we don't hear who that is, and that's fine. But we like obviously know it's someone incredibly close to her family, if not in her family, and that she had to protect that person, and it was really shitty for her. So Taylor then talks to her sister Aspen on the way to doing like a bunch of promos because she's about to go like on a press tour for the biggest week of her life, she says. And her therapist called and said that they need to schedule an appointment with Dakota because he has something that he wants to tell her. And she immediately is like, well, he cheated on me. And so she calls Dakota. She can't do it because she's going to this event. So she calls Dakota and just makes him say it. And then he does. He's like, oh, I was like talking to blankety blank blunk blunk, who is like really close to Taylor's family. And Taylor just like freaks out. So Taylor is now talking to her sister and is like, can you fucking believe that blankety blank blunk blunk's so close to our family that we've known for years, her dumb family that we love. That bitch tried to get with Dakota. Can you fucking believe that? She's like so pissed. And this is another thing where I'm like, Taylor, like, yeah, like for as cool as you have let this man take away your power, and you're letting him take away your power. You're just letting him. He, like you have an addictive personality, and like you have to find someone else. Like the thing about this kind of situation is that she has to find someone else. Like the good news is that there are many other people. The bad news is that you might just like transfix onto someone else, but hopefully that person will be able to like give her more than this person. I don't know if everyone is just hoping to find themselves to be transfixed on the perfect person that will not be as toxic, or their toxicity works for them, or they build a life where they're just codependent people together. But obviously this like trauma bond that they have together isn't it. Because I would give him grace that he could flirt with someone, like especially if she doesn't want to be with him. But he knows that this bitch is like close to her family. And so for him to do anything to hurt Taylor, like to flirt with someone that she even knows, is not it. Not indicative of someone that like cares for you or loves you. To me. And again, like they were just talking, but they were gonna meet up, and you send a pic. I'd have to. I mean, I hope I'd have to really go through all the texts. I need the therapist to sit down with Taylor and Dakota, and then have some of the mom talk come in and read the texts. Like Layla. Yeah. So that was the end of those episodes. We're gonna get into the last ones, but I'm so excited to be on this journey with you guys. What have you thought? Hi. I'm so pumped to be done with this season 3 almost, because I'm excited to get into 90 Day Fiance. And obviously Toes happened, and HEA's having their final part 4 of the tell all next week. But new season of 90 Day starts, which is yes. Really, 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 really exciting for me. What are you guys gonna be watching after this? Like, what are you into? You have to definitely tell me when the video goes up. Comment. What are your plans tonight? I'm gonna make again purple mashed potatoes, which I've never done before, but I bought purple potatoes. And so they're basically just softening, and then I'm just gonna add a bunch of like butter and some like oat milk and salt and pepper. And then I have like green onions, and maybe do I do garlic? Like a little bit of garlic, right? And then I just whip it. I'm excited about that. So happy Thanksgiving, my babes. I hope that you're finding moments of peace and grace because, just like Michaela, we have to be present in our body and vulnerable. Sometimes we have to, sometimes, or have the capacity to, because it's how you connect to people. And as we go into the last moments of this year, which typically tend to be more like social gatherings, not as like intensely work. Sometimes people have to work though a lot, especially if you're in the retail game. But wherever you are, you will hopefully be around people with spirits that are renewed and wanting warmth and connection. So if you are that as well, or if you find yourself there, I think the best way is to try and be as present as possible for people, and then also not afraid to share yourself, you know? Is my purple potatoes regular or sweet? They're regular. They're regular. So it'll be like a savory. Yeah. I had like done my hair curly, but I'm not liking the way it came out. It's a little like flat up here. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go out anything. I think I'm just going to like continue to watch TV and make these potatoes. It's already 7:35. And as you know, it's like so dark already. Um I certainly appreciate you guys being here. I certainly appreciate your comments. Thank you so much for liking this video, subscribing and sharing. And obviously, yeah, I can't wait to I can't wait to show you guys some of the things I've been working on. I've been able to watch all these shows and have these lives with you and kind of get back to some of the stuff I was doing before on YouTube. And that's been super great because I miss talking to people. At the same time, I am excited to like build upon all the topics we like talking about, the shows and some of the weird details, stuff like that. Ooh, going out after 7? No, I know, not these old bones. Once I'm in. Yeah, I mean, it's 7:36. I haven't made my potatoes yet. I'm not going out. I gotta, I gotta do it. Oh, my loves. Okay, I want you to take care of yourselves. Let's take a little moment. Let's breathe together. Let's be present together, and then we'll do our outros. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, truly. And obviously, if you want to follow me, you can. I'm at Chris Alfera. My middle name, by the way, Lee. On Instagram, on TikTok, I have a Substack. Of course, Chris Farah exists on Facebook, and you can always like Vanity Farah, which is my private Facebook group. So all of it exists. And thank you so much. Let's breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Okay. So it's like a rehearsal breath and an actual breath, just so they can really, really feel the expanse and the like depth of how low you can go in your diaphragm and how much you can blow out and how good it feels. Okay. Everything out. Everything in. Out. One more time in. Feels good. All right, my loves. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe and make art, okay? Like purple mashed potatoes or eye contact. Bye.